It's a monumental day in the Dolphins' history, and we have a proud history, and we've had some wonderful coaches over a very long time, and we're here today to announce that we've signed, if he's not arguably the best coach of all time, he'll be in the top handful, I would think. And we're really excited about it, and excited about Wayne's plans for the future, and we couldn't be more delighted. So, thank you.
Wayne, how honoured are you to be the inaugural coach?
Yeah, I feel very privileged actually. At the start of the season, I had no idea this would happen, none at all whatsoever. So it's been quite a journey, and I'm pleased to be back in Brisbane. I'm pleased to be here.
Last week you said it took a bit of negotiating. What was that? Was it only dollars, or was it pretty much sorted?
No, it wasn't dollars. It was just about philosophies and things that I wanted to make sure, and they wanted to make sure that I was on the same page as them, and vice versa. Yeah, that were the main issues, and just wanted to make sure that we're going to be compatible and make it work, because I can't make it work by myself. I need all the support that's sitting here at the table with me today, and so when we are all on the same page.
Wayne, do you feel like you're starting from the start, and given this is an established club, does that change things?
No, it does change things. This is an established club, and I recognise that, and it's my job to come in here and work within this framework. You know, when we started in 1988 at the Broncos, it was a whole different. We had no club, we had no ground, we had virtually nothing. But it's a wonderful, wonderful facility here. It's extremely well run, very successful. So it's a different context. Job's still the same, but a different context.
Can I ask you, Wayne? Moreton Bay Council have come out and said that they think it should be the Moreton Bay Dolphins. You're the head coach. What do you think? What do you think the name should be?
Well, it's up to these. Yeah, they can answer that for you. I'm just arrived as head coach today. I don't want to get into any arguments to start with.
We're known as the Dolphins. That's what we're known as. Moreton Bay Council, pretty good mates with Peter Flannery, the mayor, and most of the councillors, or all the councillors. Known Peter for nearly 20 years. Very, very keen to push his agenda, which is, he's mayor of Moreton Bay Regional Council. He's got to do that, and it's all part of his job. And I can understand that they really need to have something that can solidify their council. But unfortunately, we're in Moreton Bay Regional Council. Not unfortunately, but we're in Moreton Bay Regional Council. That's where our base is. That's where we operate from. But we want to appeal. We're a national brand, and we need to appeal to way more people in South East Queensland.
Is that part of the philosophy of being part of the community club that you're now disregarding?
Guys, we've got to get the microphone, otherwise it's going to be fine. We just finish with Wayne first, and we'll go to the next.
Okay. We'll do that again. Beautiful.
Wayne, have you identified a coaching staff before you leave it?
No, I haven't, but it's obviously going to be an important decision, and I'm just kind of sitting back at the moment. We've got 12 months grace there, so, but hopefully, our plan is to get someone to take my place when the time's up, and have it as we've just done at South Sydney. It works, and it's in the best interest of everybody that we move in that direction, and that's been part of the negotiations, and that's the way we're going.
First day in the job, any players in mind yet?
Anybody that plays rugby league.
I guess on that day, the club has sort of made it pretty clear they want to try and get as much Queensland talent as they can in. You've had some recent experience with the Maroons. There's some of those guys who are off contract. Would they be the kind of players you want to target? Yeah,
well, look, you've got a $9.5 million salary cap, and you've got to get some marquee players, so that'll be our priority to get those and build the other players around them. I mean, one of the differences here in this situation is in 88 was a lot of state of origin players that were playing in Brisbane club football, and a number from this club that came to the Broncos to start that. Well, we don't have that luxury this time. They're all playing in the NRL now at clubs, so we've got to work through that and come up with the best roster we possibly can to start with.
It's crucial that this club obviously competitive from day one to obviously establish itself in the competition. Do you think they can be competitive in the first round?
Absolutely. I mean, I want to thank Peter Volantes and Andrew Abdo as well, because the faith they showed in me to want to make sure that I was part of this group here and part of of the original setup because they want the team to be competitive as well. So I'm confident about that. But, we've got a lot of decisions to make. We've got to get them right, and then we've got to bring a team together. So it's not going to be easy, and will we be successful straight off the bat? Who knows? But we'll be doing the absolute best we can and build and set up the building blocks to make sure it's a strong club.
Is there enough time, like this time of year?
Yeah, absolutely. There's enough time. The time's great. Actually, I'm pleased we're not starting this 2022.
Club's being set up to be direct rivals to the Broncos, club you have a lot of history with. What
Well,
about that excitement?
I don't believe that. I don't believe they've been set up to be rivals to the Broncos. And, I'll make a point to you all here today. My time with the Broncos is over. I'm here at Redcliffe, the Dolphins, and I want them to be the best club. And I'm not going to be looking over my shoulder at any other club in the NRL. My total focus on what we can do here and how we can enhance what they've already built here.
There's obviously not going to be a lot of players that want to play under you, Wayne, but current Broncos, former Broncos, things like that, you obviously want to rely a lot on the relationships you've built with those sort of.
Well, obviously I want the good players to come in and want to feel comfortable here, but there's just more than me being here that'll bring them here, and that's the concept that I'll be buying into, and I want everyone else to buy into. This is a wonderful club, great area, and it's not about one person.
Wayne, you mentioned that you're moving on from the Broncos, but when you started the Broncos have built what values and ethics with the four founders and yourself that started that. Surely you're going to take some of those principles into...
Absolutely. I'm going to take what works. I don't care where I got it from. I'm going to take that. Pretty good at working out what doesn't work and try and stay away from that. But, look, the thing that I want to establish here with this is a trust, and the players can feel that there's a place here that they're always going to be comfortable, welcome at, and build relationships with the staff and the players, because they're the things that work in clubs.
Is it important to build relationships with the community as well to get the fan base on board?
Absolutely, but the better we play, the better we'll build that relationship as well. So if they see a team here that's trying hard every week, we won't always win, but doing their best every week, and that's what I'll be aiming to do here is to have a team that, whether we win or lose, you're going to see a team that really tries hard and does their best for you.
Do you think having a name
affiliated would help with that? Do you think having a name affiliated with
would help with that?
When you say a name, you mean?
Do you think having
they or Western's name associated with the Dolphins?
Wayne,
When are you going to be living in the local community here?
well, I bought a couple of houses here already.
They can see you down at local shops.
I'm going to move to, but he'll give me a couple of weeks. But I don't know.
Wayne, will part of your pitch be like this? It'll be very special to be part of the foundation team, the foundation NRL club. Is that an allure for players? Is that it's a once in a career opportunity for a lot of players?
Yeah, of course it is. It will help us attract players because it will be lots of opportunity to do that. But more, there's a great facility here as well, and great reputation here about this club. So it all helps. And we're not starting from scratch. We're way in front of that part.
Is your priority, Wayne, talent or culture in terms of what you're looking for?
Culture, every time. Okay, the talent will come, and we'll grow the talent. We'll find the talent, but it's who we are and what we are and what we stand for is an important thing within clubs.
Wayne, is it fair to say this will be your final gig? Is it
Pardon?
fair to say this will be your final
Oh, you
gig?
can't say that. You can't say that.
You've got
I'll only be young then. I'll only be young then. No.
You've got a club that's got juniors all the way through, so how do you tap into that talent that's coming through the system?
Well, that's all part of it, and they're doing that here already. It's it's long existing here, but we can do it better than we want to do that. But my dream is to have them come here as 6-year-olds and play NRL. I really mean that. I can't think of anything more exciting for a young player that now that he can play at the Redcliffe Dolphins, come through the system and play first grade. I mean, clubs in Sydney do that, and there was about 7 or 8 at South, and they make your club, they make your team because they've got the what's the word I'm looking for? Passion. Yeah, well, they've got the love for the place. They want to be part of it, and there's nothing greater for them to play in front of their parents and their friends, and they've done that since they were 6 years of age. So there's been some wonderful players come through. I remember Brett Tate at the Broncos, and I remember how young he was. I think he started here at 6. And he won't have to, the kid in the future in Ben Tate's category won't have to go anywhere else now. He can stay here. And that's the thing that I want to really be strong on, is to make sure we don't let our talent leave us.
Wayne, there was a report in your Rabbitohs contract that was a clause to prevent you coaching players. Can you shed light on that?
Well, I love you media guys, because I didn't even know I had that clause in there. So I don't know how you got to read my contract or whatever else, but I certainly didn't give it to you. And after that, I have no idea. And I don't care about the clause.
Rabbitohs shouldn't be worried?
The clause doesn't interest me at all. Go and have a look at the clubs I've coached at, and go and have a look at how many players I've taken in the club that I left. And if you look at, at South Sydney, for example, Jaden Sewer and Pat Mago were both cast out by the Broncos. The Broncos didn't want them. Darius Boyd followed me for a decade because the Broncos didn't want him. Okay, so I have no history of taking major players from any club.
Wayne, you had those year coaching Origin, you got an insight into players amongst like Welsh, Tino, are they? Will that be useful in terms of you getting to know those guys? In terms of
That won't hurt me with relationships. They're great young men. I enjoyed being with them. There's a whole stack of other guys there as well. But we've got to look at how we, who our priorities are and how we're going to do that. So the one thing we all know, we can't have everybody.
You don't think for the Queensland side next year as a consultant, is there any truth to that with the Rugby Village?
Well, again, you journos know much more than I do. That's what I like about you. Maybe the only thing I like about you, I don't know. But the point is, I'll answer the question for you. I'll just get into the... no one's spoken to me at all. So, as I said, you're privy to more information than I am.
Would you like to help Billy Wayne?
As I said, I'm privy to no information, haven't been approached, so I'm not going to comment about something. No, mate, I'm going to get fined as something I don't have to, okay?
What's the next kind of step for you immediately in terms of you go start straight away looking at players if you want to bring in head football or what?
I'm going to make Terry very busy. That's my next step.
So if that's the case, like you're the head coach, according to this, for the next 4 years. So,
Well, according to that, that's good, yeah.
Well, we haven't seen your contract, but so the next year, you're the head coach, and so do you have consultants underneath you for the recruitment and all that sort of stuff, or is it basically...
We'll start to employ staff as it starts to unfold, okay? So just take it from us. We've got it all in hand, okay? You don't have to worry about that one, boys. Okay? We'll manage all that for you.
Well, you said like, at the start of the year, you genuinely had no idea what the future held and things like that.
No.
How determined were you when you knew that there was going to be an expansion club coming in Queensland to get that role? How much did you want to be the guy?
No, that wasn't a big issue for me. What was an issue for me was that the club that got it wanted me to coach them. That was the issue. I don't want to impose myself on anybody that doesn't want me. And so that was where I stood with that. So if no one approached me, I would live with that. I wouldn't have made a phone call.
Wayne, do you remember the first time you come out here? You moved around Brisbane Rugby League for a few years?
Yeah, well, I do. 1974, first game for Brothers at the Redcliffe Showgrounds. It was a terrible afternoon. They were tough, bashed the hell out of us, and the ground had no grass on it, or very little. And I thought, if this is Brisbane football, I should have stayed in Toowoomba.
And that November 1 deadline's looming large, and as Wayne said, we'll be very busy. All of us will as we go through the process. But you're only as good as the people around you, and we want to make sure we get the best people around us as we set on this journey to making this a successful NRL club.
How important is getting somebody like Wayne and the standards he's got within the game in terms of those negotiations?
As Tony and Bob mentioned, is the best coach in the game, and I think his record speaks for itself. But not only that, he's also had experience from starting his club from scratch. Now, the beauty about us is we do have the history, and we've already got the club DNA in us, and it's going to be wonderful to see what we can do.
Obviously, the reports this morning around the fact that the Moreton Bay Council believe that they should be the Moreton Bay Dolphins, and that they were of the belief prior to the announcement that was going to be the naming rights.
Just want to say first is, we do sit right in the middle of Moreton Bay Regional Council, and they're a wonderful council. I've known Peter Flannery for probably 20 years when he was councillor out at Narangba. We started up a little club out there with him, and got on very well with Peter, and we still do. Jody Barber's just gone into Deputy Mayor today. Jody Shipway, has a long history with the club as well. And we get on very well with them. I think Mayor Flannery has a job to do. He's got to make sure the Moreton Bay Regional Council's right there, out there in front of people. It's been a difficult road for those guys to unite Petrie, Redcliffe and Caboolture together, and they saw this as an opportunity. Look, we will push Moreton Bay every day of the week, but you know we're a national brand now. Where the Redcliffe Dolphins will always survive. They will play in the Queensland Cup. The Dolphins is a national brand, and we've got to treat it like a national brand, and that's where we'll. That's the name that we're going to stay with. You know, and I'm sure we'll have some more discussion with Moreton Bay Regional Council. There's no problem. We'll get things worked out.
Do you have the funding capacity to be able to continue as a club if the council choose not to help out in the future?
Well, the council would have just come on as one of our major sponsors, and I'm sure you know with the amount of sponsors that's been knocking on our door, I'm sure we'll have that covered.
It must be disappointing. It's a wonderful week for the club, and you're copying this. It's a bit unending, isn't it?
Yeah, well, look, you know, as I said, he's got a job to do. He's the mayor of the council. He needs to promote it. Look, he's had more. I tell you, I've never seen Moreton Bay Regional Council on TV as much as the last few days. So, you know, he's achieved what he set out to do. So good on him.
But it's an issue you've got to solve.
Oh no, look, we're mates. You know, we'll have a chat.
But just generally speaking, you're getting commentary from all around the country about this.
Yeah, how good's that? You know, it's been brilliant for us.
So if your mates, why couldn't you have told them before the announcement that it wasn't going to happen?
Oh yeah, we have. It has been told. Yeah.
So what were the crisis meetings 2 nights ago?
No, there's no crisis, man. We just have meetings with the mayor and his advisors. We have meetings with state government members. We've had meetings with federal government through Luke Howarth and Peter Darton. We have meetings all the time. We have chats about it because we're such an integral part of our area.
The last 12 months, so you did say you'd open the name up to a vote or community input. When did that change and why?
Oh, well, because we think the Dolphins is the best name, and we're just going to run with that one.
Is that a club directive or an NRL or Peter Blaine?
Oh, no, that's a club directive.
The Dolphins is a lock. That's it.
Big pardon?
The Dolphins is a lock.
That's it. We know, as I said, we're a national brand, and you know, every other team, it doesn't matter where you're from, you know, it's pretty much known by their moniker. So the Dolphins is such a good moniker, you know, and I think Bob said this yesterday. You know, we did a big fight 16 years ago against the Gold Coast, who rang us probably a night before it was going to be announced that they were going to be the Gold Coast Dolphins. We didn't know a lot about brands back in those days, but we did know that we wanted to keep the Dolphin. We wanted to play in the NRL, and that was our goal. What we did do was a lot of research, and after that research told us that the Dolphin was the most powerful IP that we had. We went further after that, and you'll notice we've got the word Dolphins across all our logos. We've got 4 or 5 different logos for 4 or 5 different businesses, but the word Dolphin goes across the lot. So the Dolphins, we found out, was an extremely strong brand. It sat behind the Broncos and just behind the Cowboys, and it ran third in the state of the best known brand. So for us not to go with the Dolphins would be silly, you know. So it's such a good brand. It's very good for children, very good for newcomers, people that want to come into the game, love a Dolphin. Mums love a Dolphin. We all love them. So that's pretty much the reason why we chose it, and we had to lock it in because we got sponsors coming on board. We got all our merchandise being made, everything else, and we've got to do it really quickly. So we needed to make a decision. That's what we decided.
So the council was told before the announcement, so they shouldn't be...
Oh, look, we had lots of meetings with the council regarding, and that's with their bureaucrats that work for the council that made numerous times we said no, we're not going to be good.
Why is it called a slap in the face?
Big pardon?
Why is the name?
I don't know. You have to ask me that one.
So just confirm there will be no name, no other name.
No.
From here on, that's it.
That's it, mate.